Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Bootleg, a Tennessean high school football show. I'm your host, Tom Kreager, high school sports editor here at the Tennessean. He's Michael Murphy, our in-studio guru. Michael, is getting colder, and it's even more cold when you consider some of the upsets we had. That we picked some really bad games.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know if you can blame the pickers as much as you can just blame. I mean, there were some crazy upsets. This was one of those weeks where when I got home and checked Tennessean, Coach T, however I went about checking the scores, I was shocked.
The first games you pick are the first games you look at is the ones we pick difference on, aren't they?
Absolutely. Okay. Those are the only ones that really matter at the end of the week.
He does have a 3-game lead on me right now. Biggest upset of the state, I believe, has to be Stratford in defeating Pearl Cone 32-27. That's in a 3A second-round game. When you consider Pearl Cone beat them 55-0 earlier in the season, and then to win this game, that's a monumental upset.
Yeah, I would. It's not just the biggest upset of this round or even the postseason. I think this is perhaps the biggest upset, at least in Middle Tennessee, all season long. Would you say? I mean, I can't think of another game that I've seen. I mean, we've had a few, but 55-0 to winning.
I think you look at that as, I mean, that has to be one of the biggest things. Coach Thomas Palmer, I believe it is.
Thomas Porter.
I'm sorry. Thomas Porter, big job. Came in after the first week, took over that program. They come in at 2-8, and now they're 4-8. And you think about it all right, someone wrote a column about how 49 teams with losing records did not need to be in there.
They might have heard that one a little bit.
And
motivated them a little bit.
And we talked about this. Give you a little trivia question. There are 2 teams that enter the playoffs with losing records that are still playing of those 49 teams.
Both are from Nashville.
Both are from Nashville. Nashville Christian, I believe they're 6-6 now. I think they came in the playoffs at 4-6. And Stratford 4-8 right now, came into the playoffs at 2-8. Now they had a tough schedule.
Very tough.
I think we've overlooked that because you look at they played CPA, they played Hillsboro. I think they played
Father Ryan.
Father Ryan. I mean, they had a tougher schedule than a lot of teams. They really loaded up on their non-region games. So I mean, that I guess you have to overlook that maybe. But big upset, and the big guy James Moore, the big running back there for them. 42 carries, I believe, for like 320 yards.
3 touchdowns. Yeah, he was huge. And another little trivia thing from that game, first time since 2013 Pearl Cone has not made the semifinals. And they didn't even make the quarterfinals. So this was just shocking.
And that is also the last time I think a Metro Nashville team did not make the playoffs. So big chance here for Stratford. Or make the semifinals, I think.
Make the semifinals, yeah.
Yeah, so that's so now it's up for Stratford to keep this streak going there. So that's a big they play. We'll talk about the matchup next week. I think that's this week. They play Fairview. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but a lot riding on that game there. Knoxville Catholic. I know this is we talk a lot about Nashville.
We're going out of area.
Out of area, folks, but we like to do that. Catholic upsets Knoxville Fulton in Class 5A playoffs. I think a lot of people thought Fulton would win it or be in the championship game, losing the second round. That'd be him. Big news, for the defending state champs, 5A champs from last year. They keep their season going. And, here's the thing that maybe you shouldn't be sleeping on Catholic because, they have had some injuries that are now coming back. You got Jack Jancic, their quarterback. He missed some time with what they thought, I think, was a broken ankle. Well, I don't think it was, but he's back from an ankle injury. And then Adam Jones, wide receiver, I think he had a collarbone injury. Adam Jones is the
Butch's boy.
That's Butch Jones'
not
son.
Pac-Man.
No, that's not Pac-Man Jones. That's former Tennessee coach Butch Jones' son, Adam Jones. He's had a great season for him. Had a big game with Fulton there. So Catholic goes on to the playoffs. They play Oak Ridge, and I think most people, if they didn't have Fulton get to the finals, they had Oak Ridge. Yeah. So this is a big one there for them.
Here's another interesting thing. Both 5A finalists from a season ago are still alive. And I don't think we expected that before the playoffs. You got Knoxville Catholic. You got Beach. Beach coming off a big win over Page 21-14. Not going to call that an upset, but it was still a little bit of a surprise.
Minor upset. I wouldn't call it as big as what we were talking here. And finally, another one in 6A football playoffs. And let you kind of touch base on this before I grovel to everyone. Mount Juliet upsets Blackman in Class 6A playoffs. I'll let you give your take, then I'll take my take on this.
I know we didn't see it coming. I don't think a lot of people outside of Wilson County, maybe even Mount Juliet, saw it coming. Yeah. Congrats to Trey Perry. I think this is the biggest win of his tenure. He took over in 2013. He's done some good things. He hadn't had a playoff win like this. This is his
biggest marquee win that he has had there. And, Mount Juliet now is 12-0. They beat Blackman 35-14. Some knucklehead in this room, I think, picked them like 41-14, I think. So you wonder what happened. Well, how did Blackman, I guess at 10-1, how do they lose this game? And I think you look at it. I think Mount Juliet has been playing. I think when they've gone 10-0 the last couple seasons. No one's really given much props, not much credit there because they lost last year in the first round to Riverdale as a 1-4. So you wonder there. Do they have something to prove there? Blackman, I didn't think Blackman played very well at all. They just kind of didn't. From what I watched on TV, that game was on TV. I didn't think they came with the energy, with the determination that they have been at times this season. They just didn't play their best game, and you cannot do that in the playoffs against anyone. And Mount Juliet was 11-0 for a reason. So again, I give mad props to Trey Perry, the Mount Juliet Golden Bears. Big win, and as Michael said, that's the biggest win in his tenure for Coach Trey Perry. Big win there, and they get Oakland this next week, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. One more upset we want to talk about. FRA upsets Notre Dame in Division II AA playoffs there. That was a quarterfinal game. We're now in the semifinals. They were down, Michael, 30-6 before they come back and they win that game like 34-33, I believe. Yeah,
Riley Speed had 2 touchdowns of 90 yards or more. Had a 90-yard first-quarter kick return, then a 97-yard fourth-quarter reception. That was a big play considering how close it was. Panthers are 1 win away from their first state championship appearance since 1991.
I think Brogan Wilson kind of hurdled the player there.
He had a good one.
To get into the end zone there for the game winner. Of course, then I think they went for 2 to get the game winner. So big win there for FRA. Go on the road. They beat a team in Notre Dame that made it to the finals a year ago. I think most people, myself included, kind of thought Notre Dame would be the favorite in that part of the bracket. And FRA proved us wrong, and now they get a game with BGA, and we'll talk about that in a few minutes as well. But Cameron Wynn for Notre Dame's a heck of a player. He's a Mr. Football finalist, and FRA. I mean, they lost a couple games early.
I look at them the same way you mentioned Knoxville Catholic. They had some injuries early. What's wrong?
Nothing.
Had some injuries early. Obviously, Lance Wilhoit, he's coming back. I think they had a 1-3 start. They've won quite a bit. That's a scary team. I wouldn't want to play them right now.
Right now I'm looking at FRA in a whole different light for a different reason. So hey, here before we start talking about our top 10 games, obviously it's cold now, it's wet, it's playoff weather. It's how do you prep for the playoffs? I mean, you got hand warmers, you got your coats, you got your gloves, you got your hats, maybe hand warmers, you got scarves. Murph, you've been out. Mm-hmm. How do you dress up, get ready for the game, besides going to the press box like you were Friday night?
Layers. The key is layers, folks, and they don't even really have to be heavy layers. I wear, first I start with the long johns. I sometimes just go 2 pairs of long johns.
Okay.
After that, I put on like a waffle shirt or 2 over those. Then maybe a windbreaker. Windbreakers are important out there. As for pants, I usually go just jeans over the long johns. Hat. Crucial. You can see why. I have to have that. And I also like to go with something with a hood on it, too. I'm not a big scarf guy, so the hood.
You wear a coat, too, on top of all after that?
Maybe. We'll see. The biggest issue is the hands.
Especially when we do so much video.
Hand warmers are key. They help, but you got to have gloves, but gloves aren't very functional when you're taking notes, when you're doing video. Anyone who has a good pair of gloves where I could do both of those things while wearing the gloves, hit me on Twitter.
Yeah, well, and you want them almost you got to have that little thing where you can be on your smartphone to work as well. So
yeah, it's a balancing act, Sometimes if you don't feel like
you wear one glove.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe cut the fingers off some.
Yeah.
But the real secret, folks, find a press box. That's the key to the game.
So you're telling me I'm going to be at CPA. I'm actually getting out, folks. First Friday night of the season, I'm being out for a whole game. I should hit up Coach Mike Elson for spot in the press box.
Yeah,
maybe.
I'm thinking they got a small press box that they might offer you. Hey, you can go up top where it's colder than anywhere. But yeah, I don't know. They like you over there.
I'm sure Ingle will have a heater there. He just crank it up a few notches.
Those are big, but beware.
Don't catch your feet on fire.
Don't put your gloves too close because they will melt. That happened to me in Cookeville 2 years ago during the Whitehaven-Oakland game. So
wow,
it's a pro tip for you.
There you go. So that's good because it's been cold. It's only going to get worse, I think.
Yep.
So we're going to look at our top 10 games. First, preface this: Division II, we're in semifinals. Division I, we're in quarterfinals.
Yep.
Next week, of course, Division II teams will take a week off, and then the D1 teams will after they digest their turkey, they'll be playing Friday in the semifinals. Yep. So that's kind of sets it up for the next 2 weeks. Game of the week, and you saw the first meeting. You're going to see the second meeting. Brentwood Academy at 9-2. They're at NBA at 10-1.
Waiting for me?
You go with. Tell me what you think.
It was a great game the first time around. More points than I expected in that first meeting. NBA won 25-24 on that very gutsy two-point conversion call in overtime. What a very exciting moment. I don't think it's going to be that high scoring this time. I think it'll be a 17-10, 14-10. I think if BA can score 2 touchdowns, they're going to win. That's not an easy feat against NBA, but I think they'll do it. I like BA 17-10. Getting a little revenge.
So they need 2 scores and 2 touchdowns and a field goal.
14-10, 17-10, either one. 2 scores is going to win it, I think.
They need 3 touchdowns. Tomorrow Pleasant, you need 3 touchdowns. Brentwood Academy 21, MBA 17. I think this could go as a coin flip game.
Yeah.
I think these two know each other so well. They're so different than what we've seen them though, and I don't think either team's going to score much after over 21. I don't think no one's going to blow them out.
No, I don't think so. And both of their defenses are so good too. So and that when you're not this offensive juggernaut, that makes things even tougher when you're going up against a defense that's allowing less than 10 points a game, which I think both of them are.
Oakland 11-1. They travel to Mount Juliet at 12-0. That's the first time I believe that Kevin Creasy has had to travel before the semifinals since he's been at Oakland.
You would know better than I.
I can't remember a time.
That sounds right.
I can't remember a time he's had to travel.
Yeah.
That tells you how strong that Murfreesboro has been.
Yeah. Usually, the top seed is not making it out past round 2 in 6A. So. Yeah, I'm afraid to pick against Mount Juliet again, but I think I have to. I think Oakland's defense is just too good. I picked Blackman and Mount Juliet pretty close last week. I'm going to do it again this week. Oakland 21, Mount Juliet 14.
Didn't I pick it 41-14?
That was at least 3 scores.
I think I picked 41-14, and I got called out, folks.
I was kind of scooting out of frame.
I had folks, I had coaches, I had players, I had everyone hating me last week, and I said, guys, I've learned my lesson. I learned my lesson. I am not sleeping on Mount Juliet this year. They're 12-0 for a reason. Right?
Yeah, I guess.
Oakland's not undefeated.
Who are you picking?
No, not Mount Juliet. Sorry. Oakland 20-17 over Mount Juliet. Sorry, guys. It's going to be close, though.
I've been watching too much College Game Day over here.
It's a flip a coin. It's a flip a coin. Flip a coin. I'm going to go Oakland 20-17. It's going to be a low-scoring game. I think Oakland's defense is pretty good. Now, the good thing, I think, for Mount Juliet is you play at home, and they don't have to play in that mud pit at Ray Hughes Stadium. And, folks, it is nasty over there. And if Oakland wins, they better figure out a way to play that game somewhere else because that game, the semifinal game, should not be played on that stadium right now. As muddy as it from what the pictures I've seen. So that's just a tip there. They better find a place to play that game if Oakland finds a way to win. Mount Juliet would sure like to host that game next week.
Certainly.
Ravenwood 9-2 at Brentwood 10-2. Some people have been wondering, Ravenwood got the bye.
Yes.
They did not get a forfeit win. And I had to correct someone else high up to get that thing corrected. I think it's corrected now. But Ravenwood 9-2 at Brentwood 10-2. Of course, Brentwood beat Ravenwood in a close one in the regular season.
Yeah, that was a really good game. I was at that, and both of them had exciting wins last week. I was at Brentwood Independence. Came down to a forced fumble in overtime. It looked like Independence was going to go in and win it. They did not. Brentwood held on 27-24. I heard all about Ravenwood. I was checking it on my phone. I felt a little bad about that pick going into Friday. I didn't feel good about it. I checked at halftime. Cane Ridge was up 16-7, and I was thinking, all right. Ravenwood reeled off 29 fourth-quarter points, beat Cane Ridge by a touchdown. So they're both coming off big performances. I think Ravenwood gets them this time around, though. I like the Raptors 24-21.
Don't ever discount a Ron Crawford team.
No, certainly not.
They've been really good.
He was very excited after last week.
Oh, sure.
He was, one might say giddy. The whole stadium was.
I could see Ron Crawford giddy.
Yeah.
I like this Brentwood team a lot. They played it with a lot of adversity. But, man, this Ravenwood team looks like a team that's – ever since even though I picked them to lose last week, ever since they destroyed that Independence, they beat Independence pretty solidly. I love that defense played so well. I've kind of kept my eye on this Ravenwood team, but I like Cane Ridge too, so I picked Cane Ridge to win.
Same here.
I like Brentwood a lot. I just like what they do. But I'm picking the Raptors 31-27, Ravenwood 31, Brentwood 27. I think that way if Brentwood wins, I say, hey guys, I give you.
Yeah, that's called hedging your bets.
I've hedged my bets there, but I think Ravenwood wins this game in a close one. I just think defensively they'll make maybe one play extra.
Brian Garcia is coming off a career-high 5 touchdown performance too, so
wow,
I like that. He's playing good at the right time.
Yeah. And Granzel's plays well, though, for Brentwood.
He runs it. He's mini Tebow out there. He scored all three Brentwood touchdowns last year on the ground.
Mini Tebow. Lausanne, out of Memphis, they come to town. 11-0 at CPA, 12-0. Lausanne played 9 games in the regular season. That's why they're 11-0. They come with probably one of the best running back college prospects in the country in Eric Gray, who's committed to Michigan. He's a Mr. Football finalist, but CPA has their own Mr. Football finalist in Noah Henderson.
And maybe not the one you would have expected at the beginning of this year.
Yeah, Noah's had a great year for him.
So good.
And, of course, Patterson's a heck of a player as well.
They're going to need him if they're going to upset Lausanne.
He's going to have to perform.
Yes, certainly.
It's going to be, and that's one of the reasons why I'm going to this game, guys. I want to see Eric Gray, who I've seen at the championship games. I want to see how he's really, really, really special guy to watch.
Yeah.
Put him against Kane and see how they
see
do.
Who comes out on top. Yeah.
It's going to be that's a good matchup. I hope they can. Hope Kane can get in some plays there to see how that goes head to head. Of course, I think Kane will run the ball more this week.
I think so too.
I'm picking Lausanne 28-21. Sorry, CPA folks, but I picked them to win the whole thing. So
I don't really have any stats to back up this pick, but it just feels wrong to go against CPA. Every time I've seen them this year, they're just so good at so many things. They tackle, they block, they can throw it, they can run it. Mm-hmm. I like CPA pulling off the upset on their home field. Lions win 24-17.
Wow. Would not be too upset if that happened.
No.
Of course, if it's wrong, I pick up a game. So, Hillsborough Beach 9-3 versus Hillsborough 9-3. That game's going to be played at John Overton High School. Remember, Hillsborough's going through a major renovation there at the school. So their games have been on the road all season. So they'll be at John Overton for the second week in a row. Don't know much about this Hillsborough team. I know what the
Brian Covington. 364 yards.
That's all you need to know, folks.
He's had a great second half of the season, too. They were mixing it up a lot earlier. He seems to be the guy.
The Parks kid at Beach has had a great season.
Yeah, he had about 300 last year, too.
Yeah, he had a 260.
Last week,
He had around 260. Didn't score any touchdowns, but he had a great he had a great game as well. But we'll see. We'll see what happens there. I'm going. It's hard for me to go against Hillsborough right now. They're playing really well. They beat them pretty handily in the regular season. Of course, you look at what Stratford did, so you can't. That really doesn't mean anything. I go Hillsborough 27, Beach 14.
I like Hillsborough in a little bit of a lower scoring game. I like Hillsborough 13-7. This is a nice little budding rivalry now that they're in the same region. They played twice last year, met in the second round of the playoffs. Beach won both of those. Hillsborough won this regular season game. They've all been low scoring, though. A lot of running, a lot of defense. I think it's going to be the same. Maybe a 6.7 point difference.
The thing with Beach is, a year ago they make it to the finals. So senior heavy.
Yeah, so I want to say at least 20 of their 22 starters.
Yeah,
that might be a little high, but it was very close.
They were so, and pretty much everything. The Dunlap kid came in Dunlap. He graduates, had over 30 touchdowns, over 2,000 yards, close to probably 3,000 yards, and they've figured it out. They especially late in the season, they've got some good young talent coming up.
Yep.
I just think this Hillsborough team has been battle tested. They played, I believe, a CPA this year.
Yep.
I like this team.
So held Independence to 17 points, held Shelbyville to 20. Those are both very impressive.
Tullahoma 10-2 at Maplewood 11-1. Looks like we just saw this game like three weeks ago.
Yeah.
Bobo Hodges.
Bobo? Yeah, he's pretty good. He's got 36 touchdown passes now. It's been Maplewood's defense, though, the last month and a half. They held Tullahoma to 6 points in that week 11. Was it week 11 or week 10? Can't remember the last time they played, but they held them to 6 points.
Week 11.
I think it's going to be similar this time around. I like Maplewood 21, Tullahoma 7. Tullahoma's got a good defense, too, though, so I don't think Maplewood runs wild.
Kendall's Curie right now is when you see where this kid coming in here can make a difference maker because he can go up and just get passes.
Yep.
I like their secondary with what they have there. And of course, they've got Mikkel Smith at receiver too. But I think this is where Kendall Curie can start really paying off for you because he can go up and get some jump balls and stuff. I like Maplewood 35-21. I guess I'm thinking a little more offense this week than he is. So we'll see. FRA at 8-4 goes to BGA at 10-2. BGA won a close one, I think 14-3 or something like that.
Yeah,
first meeting. FRA is playing with a lot of momentum. What's your thoughts?
I think FRA is going to score more than 3 this time. That was actually their season low, but I don't think it's going to go crazy. I think both of these teams have good defenses. I do think BGA is going to be a little too much, though. Nick Simpton-Felter, Chico Bennett, Briston Bennett. I like BGA 17-14.
I like that too. It's hard to FRA winning at Notre Dame. That's a big win for Whittemore.
Yeah, huge.
That's a program win for them.
Yep.
Because I think no one really thought they were going to go down there and win.
Well, like I said earlier, they're one game away from making their first championship appearance since 1991. That was 3.
And you think about this season. Lance Wilhoit was number 3 in the Dandy Dozen.
3, yes.
3 in the Dandy Dozen, 1,000-yard receiver, misses the first half the season with a arm injury or some sort of collar, whatever it was.
I think it was a shoulder
separation, whatever it was. And then first game back, he gets perhaps concussed. Perhaps.
That's what I heard. Yeah.
Yeah, I heard maybe he went into concussion protocol, whatever that means. He went into that tent.
Yeah.
I don't know if he. Probably. So anyway, but he hasn't had the season because he's missed so much action. But guys like Riley Speed and Brogan Wilson and the quarterback Sean Casey has evolved during. And that was a big question because they graduated the quarterback from a year ago.
Yep.
And was it Stockstill Diggs? Eric Stockstill
Diggs. Yeah. I believe he's at an Ivy League. Of I can't remember which one.
Cornell.
Could be.
Yeah. So anyway, but Casey's done a good job. He's evolved this year.
Yeah, and really since Wilhoit's come back, I think his biggest
defense.
Yeah, I think that's been the biggest, and that's obviously I'm talking about defense a lot, so it's pretty important.
Yeah, but with all that said, I'm going BGA 28-21 over FRA. I think it's a close game though. This is an interesting game here, folks. Trousdale County 9-3 at Watertown 12-0. I think they play downtown. I think their stadium at Watertown's downtown.
Really
I heard it's
nice.
great.
I hear both of these schools have really nice Friday night setups.
I've been to Trousdale County, and I can testify that I really like their setups there at Trousdale. That might be if Watertown wins, that may be a destination for one of us for next week because there's a lot of people on the road. But Watertown 12-0, the Heath Price. The kid,
Daramus Carey.
Thank you.
I don't know if I'm getting that first name right, but
the Carey kid running the ball
because he's really good.
He's done really well for them this year. What's your thoughts on that game?
Well, they played, I believe, in week 3. Watertown won by 1 point. That was their closest game to date. Carey has eclipsed the 100-yard mark in all but 2 games this season. One of those was actually their first meeting. Trousdale County held him to a season-low 80 yards. Mm-hmm. I don't think they're going to be able to slow him down again. He has been on such a roll, 150, 170.
Price does so much for them as well.
I think Watertown wins, but I think it's also going to be a close one again. I got Watertown 25, Trousdale 24.
I think it's Watertown by a little bit more, 35-14 over Trousdale County. We talked about this team a little bit earlier, pulled off the biggest upset in the state. Stratford at 4-8, they go to Fairview at 10-2. You know, trying to get a hold of Chris Hughes, and he kind of laying low, I think. Didn't get him on the phone. Because I wonder what his reaction was when he saw Pearl got beat. And this isn't meant to any disrespect anything to Stratford, but, you know, he's had his wars with Pearl Cone.
Yep.
You got to like the fact that, one, you're playing at home. Mm-hmm. You're not playing your postseason nemesis.
Nope.
I like this Fairview team a lot.
You would.
Carey Harris Lusk.
Yeah, you would definitely prefer to be playing Stratford to Pearl Cone, no question. Mm-hmm. But when you look, with the running game that Stratford's got, I think they're going to be able to score. I just think Fairview scores a little more because of the guy you just mentioned. I think he had 5 total touchdowns last week. He scores in every way imaginable. I think Fairview wins at 34-21. But Stratford, hats off. Coach Floyd.
Literally, his hat's off.
Hat is off.
Fairview 34-26 for me. I like the Stratford story. It's a great storyline. I just think Fairview's with Cam Harris Lusk and Brock Harris and I can't think of his name.
Nardozzi?
Yeah, he missed last week with an injury. Hopefully they'll get him back.
They got a pretty big line, too, on both sides of the ball. Yeah. That's what I like about
you look at Fairview, he hasn't backed down from anyone.
No.
They only played Page.
They lost to Page. They lost to Ravenwood. Those are 2 losses. So
yeah,
there.
You lose to a 5A,
5A and a 6A,
and a 6A.
And I actually received.
And you're a 3A.
I actually received an email this morning, I believe, from a Fairview fan asking how is Pearl Cone still ranked above Fairview even though they're out. And it's a good question. It is.
You have an answer?
I did, and he thought my answer was very good.
What was your answer?
Pearl Cone's 2 losses prior to Friday, MBA and CPA. They were both 10 points or less. Those are top 5 teams. They've also beat 2 6A teams, Cookeville, Cordova. So I told the gentleman, these aren't set in stone. There's certainly a chance Fairview overtakes them next week. I just couldn't drop Pearl that far for 1 loss. However, untimely and shocking.
They could continue to drop down a little bit, though.
Oh, yeah.
Last game to talk about, Cornersville at Huntington, 12-0 versus 12-0. Cornersville gave up some points last week.
Well,
I was upset.
They were down after one quarter, I believe.
What the heck?
If Max Preps is correct. Yeah, I think it was 12-6 or something at the end of one quarter.
What happened? I mean, man, goodness.
Wayne County scored some points.
Exchanged some text messages with Coach Randolph there at Cornersville. He said, man, defense missed some assignments. He said Wayne County's pretty good and just didn't play as well as they can. But then they turned it on. They won. Absolutely. And, they go to Huntington. This is a semifinal game.
Yeah.
And I know Lake County looms out there for whoever wins this game. But, man, this is a great game to go to. If you like 1A football and good defense, this is the game to go to.
Yeah. Cornersville, their scoreless streak came to an end last week. I think their unbeaten streak lives on, though. I like Cornersville 31, Huntington 21.
Whew. This is a tough one for me to pick. I like what this Cornersville team has done. I picked them to win it all. So if I'm picking them to win it all, kind of have to pick them to win this week.
Tipped his hand there, yeah.
So 20-14, Cornersville over Huntington in a really good game. I think this is a low-scoring game. I like the Whitaker kid.
Yeah, he's really, Mr. Football finalist. Eli Woodard is pretty good as well.
Yeah, they're like mirror images.
That tandem right there, they've been really good.
Well, folks, that's our top 10 games. We've gone over a little bit. My producer's going to slap me for going over a couple minutes, I'm sure. But I appreciate you guys joining us. We'll see you next week. Get ready for turkey time and semifinals.
Yep.
We'll see you next week.